Hi there, I'm Shelley Youngblut, and I am the General Director of Wordfest, which is Calgary's festival for writers and readers, although we're calling it a festival of wordy goodness this year, which is our 20th anniversary. And I am a graduate of the University of Calgary. I have a Bachelor of Arts, and I also spent sort of my formative years at CJSW, where I created my very first magazine. So for 6 days in October, right after Thanksgiving, October 13th to 18th, we have over 100 writers from all over the world. So you've got the tastiest international, national, local, regional writers. They come together and they basically put on a live show. So we take this really introverted thing called writing and reading and we make it social. So I had been editing a magazine called Swerve at the Calgary Herald, which was a magazine that I created, very much like Vox, my first magazine from CJSW. And as part of my gig at Swerve, I got to host a lot of local events. And WordFest was always one of my favorites. So I had been on, the person asking authors questions, and then I joined the WordFest board in January, and I wound up being the general director in May. So it's been a very fast, but in some ways, I think destined gig for me. What we're calling it is like a rerouting in what I call classic WordFest. So you're going to see Lawrence Hill, you're going to see Elizabeth Hay, you're going to see Nino Ricci, you're going to see Don Gilmore. So the great Canadian authors reading from their books and talking about their process. But you're also going to see some unexpected things. So we're in Arts Commons, we have a festival hub, and I've got this thing called the Oktoberfest Lab, which is a bar, and I think reading and writing in bars go together really well. And in the Oktoberfest Lab, we're going to have these pop-up performances. So there's going to be a film screening and a talk about Lexi Flexhog, who is a famous undiscovered painter. We're going to do an adult spelling bee, where different Calgarians, famous and not so famous, are going to compete to see who's the best speller with interesting consequences if you get a word wrong. We're going to do an actual Celtic wake for a very, very instrumental local poet named Murdoch Burnett, who just passed away. And I think that's how you want to celebrate someone's legacy, is in a bar with a bunch of writers. And what I'm really hoping, Calgarians, is that you guys are going to show up and show people from Iceland and Denmark and Australia and New Zealand that we love our writers and that we know how to make them feel welcome in Calgary. We've had a local animator named Cam Christensen create these life-size illustrated pop-ups of the 20 writers who couldn't make it for our 20th anniversary. So when you're walking around town, you're going to run into Douglas Copeland, you're going to see Margaret Atwood, you're going to see Martin Amis, you're going to see Richard Ford. I want you to take them home. I want you to take them on adventures. I want you to bring them back at some point, maybe to the Oktoberfest Lab. But the idea is to interact with authors in a really fun, spontaneous, kind of Calgary way. So even though classic WordFest is very much rooted in people probably between 20 and 60, we also do 10,000 school kids get their first taste of a live author experience through WordFest Youth. And so we go into their schools, we bring them out to theater performances, and we have some of the best children and young adult writers in the world coming. Kenneth Opel, Susan Nielsen, Trina St. Jean, Melanie Watt. We do both French and English programming, and it's just so much fun. The other thing that we're doing, which is unique in some ways to WordFest, is we've always had a very strong Indigenous writing component, and this year we've amplified it. So there's a series of events all week long, at all ages, featuring Indigenous writers from all over Canada. Some are graphic novelists, some are artists, some are nonfiction writers, some are fiction writers. We've got Wab Kinew, Sheila Watt-Cloutier, who was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in the Arctic. Richard Van Camp, who's an unbelievable storyteller. If you want to see our Indigenous showcase, it's Thursday night at the Dutton, Thursday, October the 15th. And it's going to be amazing at 7 p.m., so please come to that.